What if the end of Avengers Endgame wasn't really the end at all? What if it was actually the beginning of something way, way worse? Today, we're going to dive into a pretty fascinating and honestly tragic fan theory that says the MCU's greatest hero might have accidentally created its next ultimate villain. So let's get into it. It really all boils down to this one kind of shocking question. We all see Steve Rogers as, the ultimate good guy, right? But what if one single decision, a decision he made out of pure grief and love, ended up unleashing a disaster that threatens the entire multiverse? Okay, so to really get how this could even be possible, we have to go back to Captain America's final mission, returning all the Infinity Stones. And we're going to focus on his very last and probably his most painful stop. Just try to picture it for a second. Steve, all by himself on those creepy, desolate cliffs of Vormir. Yeah, the war is over, but the cost was just staggering. And he's standing there holding the exact stone that cost him his friend, Natasha Romanoff. The weight of that loss has to be almost crushing. And this is where the theory really kicks off. The idea is that Steve, just totally consumed by his grief, holds on to the Soul Stone for just a moment too long. And that deep, powerful emotional connection yanks him right into the soul world, this weird dimension where souls linger. And who does he find there? A very familiar face. So, inside this strange, otherworldly place, Steve gets the one thing he probably wanted most, a real goodbye with Natasha. But this chat they have, it's so much more than a reunion. It's a warning. It's the moment that could have changed everything and saved the multiverse. Now, of course, Steve wants to bring her back. Who wouldn't? But Natasha, she says no. She's found peace. Her sacrifice, that was it. That was her final heroic act that finally, balanced the scales for her. Her story is done. But right before she's gone for good, she gives him this really cryptic warning. I mean, think about it. She understands the Soul Stone in a way nobody else could, because she's literally existed inside of it. She knows its true power is a temptation you don't want to mess with. So you have to put yourself in Steve's shoes, right? He just lost Tony Stark, his best friend. He just watched Natasha sacrifice herself. And now he's holding this object that has power over life and death itself. Is a guy in that much pain going to listen to a warning, or is he going to try to fix something that can't be fixed? Well, according to this theory, he makes a choice, a very human, very understandable, and completely catastrophic choice. He ignores what Natasha told him, and in an act of love for his other lost friend, he accidentally unleashes a brand new evil on the multiverse. So, here's how it supposedly goes down. Still reeling from talking to Natasha's spirit and just wrecked over Tony's death, Steve tries to use the stone to pull Tony's soul back, the soul that passed through the stones when he did the snap. But it all goes horribly, horribly wrong. Instead of bringing Tony back, he rips his friend's very essence across reality. And that soul, it gets reincarnated in a totally different universe as a totally new person, Victor Von Doom. And this is what makes this version of Doctor Doom so tragic. He has all the genius, all the ambition of Tony Stark, right? But he's a foreign soul in a foreign universe. He grows up with this deep, nagging feeling that he just doesn't belong, because he literally doesn't. He's a cosmic echo of a hero from a completely different reality. And Steve's mistake? It wasn't just personal. Oh no, it had cosmic consequences. Doom's very existence, this misplaced soul, it acts like a glitch in the matrix of his universe. It messes with timelines, and it starts triggering the very first incursions, those violent collisions of realities that we know are coming in the multiverse saga. Now, I know, this all sounds pretty out there, I get it, but the theory actually does a surprisingly good job of connecting a few dots and kind of patching up some potential plot holes in the MCU lore. Let's take a look. So the first and biggest question that always comes up is this. Wait a minute. Didn't Red Skull say the sacrifice was an everlasting exchange? A soul for a soul. So how could Steve even try to do something like this? The theory has some pretty clever answers for that. First, Red Skull was just the gatekeeper, right? His knowledge was all about how to get the stone, not necessarily everything it could do. Natasha, having been in it, would know more. Second, we have zero established rules for returning the stone. That's a perfect little gap for news stories to fill in. Plus, this all lines up with what the actors have said. A Soul World cameo doesn't bring Natasha back to life. so her sacrifice still means everything. So, if we run with this theory, what does it actually mean for the future of the MCU? Well, it means that Captain America's one mistake didn't just create a villain, it created the perfect antagonist for the entire multiverse saga. Just imagine it. Victor Von Doom, a genius who masters both science and magic, becomes obsessed with this feeling that he doesn't belong. He uses his insane intellect to look into the multiverse, and eventually he traces the origin of his soul all the way back to its source, the Soul Stone, and the man who used it, Steve Rogers. Now that makes things personal. And this gives Doom a motivation that is both ridiculously huge and super personal. His goal isn't just power for power's sake. No, it's to tear down all of reality and rebuild it into a place where he finally fits in, a place where that echo of Tony Stark's soul can finally be at peace. And that, my friends, is exactly the kind of cosmic ambition that leads you straight to a Secret Wars storyline. So it leaves us with this one last, kind of haunting question. We've seen how destructive the Infinity Stones can be, but what if a hero's grief, their desperate love for their friends, is an even more powerful and ultimately more dangerous force in the universe? What if the road to multiversal war was paved with the absolute best of intentions? Makes you think, right?